Hello everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Sir Freddy's Corner, where this channel can be a place of positive conversation, education, and inspiration. In the last episode, we discussed about the origin of figures of speech, and we have classified them into two according to Aristotle, such as the figures of thought or tropes, which is according to meaning of the word, and figures of forms or schemes, which are used according to the structure of a word or the way they are used in a sentence. Today, we are going to talk about the last five of the figures of thought or tropes. Last time, I talked about simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification, and onomatopoeia. But today, we will be talking about the last five of them. There are so many, but we are using and we are presenting those which are commonly used in the common language and of course in poetry. And here are the last five tropes or figures of speech. Synecdoche, oxymoron, apostrophe, irony, and paradox. Synecdoche is when somebody uses a part to represent the whole or the whole that represents the part. And here are the examples, like when somebody says, "Where are your wheels?" referring to wheels, but actually you mean the whole car. "Oh, there's the police." You're actually saying the policeman, but you're representing the whole police force. "Oh, did you bring your plastic?" Or referring to credit cards. "Can you give me a Coke?" Or any cola drink. The Coke has become representing the whole of the sodas. And the whole army, but actually you mean the soldier. And here's a beautiful example of synecdoche as used by William Shakespeare in his very famous The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. We can see here in Act 3, Scene 2 of the play, where Antony was addressing the people when he said the famous lines, "Friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not praise him." So Mark Antony was actually asking the people, "Lend me your ears," but he was actually referring to the whole of the people, but he just simply used the part ear of the human body, ear referring to people. So it's like saying, "Lend me your ears, hey people, listen to me." Well, oxymoron is a figure of speech that is a use of two contradictory words side by side. And here are the examples of oxymoron. They are peace force. So you could see that how can there be peace when there's a force, or how can there be force when there's peace? Kosher ham. So you could see here that ham is pork and kosher is like beef. So they are totally different because some people do not eat pork while others cannot eat beef. So they are totally different, contradictory terms used together. Then we have jumbo shrimp. Jumbo, then most of the time whenever we say shrimp, it's small, but it's a small shrimp, but it's a jumbo. It's really oxymoronic. Small crowd. Small and then a crowd. Whenever we hear the word crowd, it means large, but here it's a small crowd. Then free market. How can there be free whenever we pay something to market? When it's market, we always buy, and whenever we buy, we pay. But we say it's a free market. And here's a beautiful example again by the very famous William Shakespeare, where there is a series of so many oxymoronic statements. Let's take a look at this. "Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first created, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Oh, what a beautiful series of a lot of oxymoron. So look at that. How can there be brawling love? Love that is brawling. Aren't they oxymoronic? Loving hate. That there is hate in love and there is love in hate. Isn't that oxymoronic? And look at that. Oh, anything of nothing. There's already something and then there's nothing. Then heavy lightness. Heavy and yet light, oxymoron. Serious vanity, a vain and then serious. And then we have misshapen chaos. Is there a chaos that is well shaped? Feather of lead, a lead that is heavy and yet is feather light. Bright smoke. Well, smoke is always something that is dark, but here it's bright. Cold fire. How can a fire be cold or cold a fire? Sick health. A healthy that is sick or sickly, that is oxymoronic. Still waking sleep. Waking and sleeping, oxymoronic. This love I feel that is no love, oxymoronic. Oh, Hamlet is just, or sorry, Romeo is just so good in saying so much of oxymoron about love. But isn't really love oxymoronic? Then irony. Irony is a contrast on what is intended, that is exactly opposite of what was said or what was expected and then it did not happen. And there are three kinds of irony. 1. Verbal irony. 2. Situational irony. And 3. Dramatic irony. As we were saying a while ago, when we say verbal irony, you are actually meaning the opposite. When you say the positive, you mean the negative. And then in the situational irony, you're expecting this to happen, but it did not happen. Or it happened the moment you never expected it. While dramatic irony is something that we see in literature, that the audience knows, but the characters do not know. So here's a beautiful example of an irony, both dramatic and situational irony and verbal irony. Here is the famous Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. When Oedipus Rex said, "Upon the murderer I invoke this curse, whether he's one man and all unknown, or one of many, may he wear out his life in misery to miserable doom." So look at that very arrogant, ironic King Oedipus when he was invoking a curse. And that curse, unknowingly, ironically, was actually about himself. And what was he saying? Invoking that curse, that the life of that man be worn out? That is ironic. He didn't know what he was saying, that he was actually invoking things against himself. Well, he did not know, but the audience knows, or they know exactly what's going on, that he was actually the murderer of his father, King Laius, and he did not know it. That is the dramatic irony. Whatever he said, that was the verbal irony, and the situation, of course, is ironic. So it's complete of verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. And we have paradox. How is paradox different from irony? Well, irony will be contrasting things, but paradox is also a contrast of the popular belief existing that may not be true, but there is really truth in it. And here are the examples. Your enemy's friend is your enemy. I am nobody. What a pity that youth must be wasted on the young. Wise fool. Truth is honey, which is bitter. I can resist anything but temptation. Here's another example of paradox coming again from Shakespeare in the play Hamlet, when Hamlet said, "I must be cruel to be kind." How can you be cruel and then you're kind? And how can you be kind when you're cruel? So that is used as a statement. It may be contradictory, but there is really some truth in it, that sometimes in our lives, In order to be kind, you have to be cruel. In order to be cruel, you have to be kind. Well, that depends on the situation of a person, like Hamlet. And the last one is apostrophe. Apostrophe is different from the punctuation right there showing possession. Apostrophe in literature is addressing someone who is already dead or absent as if that person were present or alive, or addressing an inanimate object as if that inanimate object were a human being. So here is an example of an apostrophe. You know this by Jane Taylor, that very popular children rhyme, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And look at this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Or shall I sing it? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, look at that. The kid was looking at the stars twinkling, and as if the kid were talking to the little star twinkling, and they're as if he is having a conversation with a star. So that is an apostrophe, addressing an inanimate object as if it were a human being. Here's also another example of apostrophe from a very famous John Donne titled Death, Be Not Proud. And here it goes. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those who thinkst thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. So, the persona was like talking to death as if death was a human being, and he was like addressing death as, hey, do not be proud, but because others may be afraid, but I am not afraid of you. So death, be not proud. Look at that apostrophe. So hey guys, I hope that you learned so much from our episodes 1 and 2 on the figures of thought or tropes, namely simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole, onomatopoeia. And of course, our second set of tropes or figures of thought are synecdoche, oxymoron, apostrophe, paradox, irony. So I would like to thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed watching it and learning from it. I hope you jot down notes so that you can remember them and you can explain them very well. So simply just, feel them, understand them, and you too can come up with your own examples of these figures of thought or the tropes or the figures of speech. Enjoy watching. And so if you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe on this channel, Freddy's Corner. So give your thumbs up if you like it. And of course, share and leave your comments below if you want me to discuss something about literature and anything that can really be clarified so that you can understand them very well. I am Sir Freddy, and here is Freddy's Corner.